What is going on, YouTube? Thank you guys for stopping in for today's video. I believe this is day 3 of the install, the lift on this F250. Today's project at hand is going to be the transfer case indexing plate. So this guy right here is going to take the transfer case and clock it down so that the drive shaft is at a nicer angle for the front differential. This is the factory transfer case crossmember that goes from the frame here to here. And then here is the new one from PMF. As you can see from the difference from this angle, we have this little drop down right here. Now this, where you see these two bolts, these holes, that's where the transfer case support is. So you can see it's going to be clocked from this angle flat to that angle right there. And because it's clocking like this, you'd hit right here. So that's why this is notched out like it is. And then our transfer case will sit down in here. So let me show you what's going on the truck side. That plate is ready to go. So we're gonna have to torque all these bolts down here. That'll sit flush in there. And then after that, we'll install the transfer case to the other set of bolts. After that, plan is to mark all the lift kit components. So pretty much just figuring out what's gonna be red, what's gonna be white, figuring out what can be painted and what can't be powder coated to help you guys out too for your builds. If you're ever wondering like, what stuff can I powder coat? What stuff can I paint? And vice versa. This will help you out and figure out what parts you can do what with. Here's the transfer case before it goes back into the truck. We have the support for it right here. This will ride on the crossmember for the transfer case and transmission. Clocks this all downwards, and that section goes down and this section stays pretty much right in alignment because you can't change this right here. Looking at this Allison front example, you have your input shaft, at least on these, the intermediate shaft and output shaft. So all your shafts are running straight in a line here. You can't just magically clock this down and move the whole transfer case down. That just physically wouldn't work. Because on the back side of your transmission, you have your output shaft. I have it all taped up right now so it doesn't get rust on it. But also what'll happen too is you'll get surface rust on your shaft. I oiled this one up, but we don't want that to happen to that truck, and that's why we're getting everything wrapped up on it today. We got the forklift fired up here. Basically what's going to happen is I'm going to drop this down and put it in underneath the truck, and then Jordan will pick it up, throw it onto the spline. Basically just going to use this to get it inside of there so we're not like fumbling with it underneath. It'll just make it nice and easy. This is going to be close to the angle that it's at, maybe drop down just a touch more. Transfer case indexing plate is in. You can see how it drops down on the left. The transfer case originally, this bottom piece sat flat with the ground. Now it's kicked up. Also, so it's just not hanging off. I mean, it'd be okay without this, but I just don't want this hanging down, all that pressure on the front there and the engine mount bolts. So we have a strap here tucked in nice and tight, holding this up, propped up there until we're ready to get the new cross member in there, because the factory one will not fit because it goes here straight across to right there and those two bolts. And the new one, like I showed you guys, it drops down and then comes back up. So that thing's going to be off for powder coat. This will do in the meantime. Now that all the outside stuff is done, we just finished labeling everything over here. It was a lot of like looking at pictures of different trucks with this lift kit and then saying like, okay, so this piece would look good with this little bit here. We want to accent the white, but there's too much white on this side. It's like going back and forth, and it sounds like such petty little, oh, you got to figure out what's white and what's red. But I mean, honestly, there's a lot of thought that goes into it, because you don't want to have like all kinds of white parts over here and it's all red over here. You want it to flow nice and even. And like I said, we want to have more red than white on this thing. Now, all this stuff is going to be red. So this is the, I guess you call it the skid plate. Oh, I guess I never did show you guys the wheels. That's a little peek at them right in there. And you can see how we're accenting that same color. Those are 20 by 12s with a negative 51 offset. So it gives you like a offset right between like a 14 wide and a 12 wide. 1350 Toyos on there. And these are the Fender Flares we're gonna put on the truck. Unfortunately, he didn't need them for where he lives, so we'll just have to deal with those. I got the cleanest version I could find, the Bushwhacker style, that's like as close to a factory flare, just sticks out a little more. None of the pocket stuff, just clean as can be. But anyway, so we got the tank shield slash skid plate. This is all gonna be red. Got the hitch off here. The hitch is gonna be red. Sway bar, red. These caps right here, the sway bar caps, these are gonna be white. So we have these, I think these are sway bar brackets. Can't remember, they're all wrapped up now. Maybe these are right here for the end links, the brackets. Some of this stuff is for the steering stabilizer kit. We have the Kings right here. We're gonna see what we can do about this. I wanna try and make where you see the blue there on the top and bottom. I want to try and get that white if we can possibly paint that. I know my painter's gonna absolutely hate me for that, but want to get that all cleaned up. Red for the coilover mounts. This is accents for the traction bars, so you see that right there. These will go, so the bars will be red, and then these will be white to accent down there. This is part of the steering stabilizer kit as well. Red. These are shock mounts. This is going to be red, or I should say shock reservoir mounts. It holds that up top. Bottom of the bolts for the U-bolts right here. The U-bolts are going to be white. The bottom plates here will be red. Traction bar mounts red. Crossmember red. White Heim joints. So we're going to get the Heim joints painted right here. White, and then the bars will be red. Then a red Pitman arm. Now this is going to be a little tricky. I'm hoping you can pull this off. Trying to go red for the actual bracket, the 4-link bracket. And then this eagle, you can see it's like raised up there. I want to try and get that white, if that's possible. I know sometimes with powder, the colors will bleed back and forth, but hopefully being raised up, that'll help. The other 4-link bracket in red, this steering drop down bracket. These are the brackets in the rear. I think I've talked about these a couple times, but it's everything in one. So it just encages the axle in here, and then this is your block, but obviously it's all welded together, so that's nice and safe. Gonna be fully red. This is a bracket for the steering stabilizer kit, red as well. Then we come over here to the front track bar, red for the bar, and then this joint will be white on the end. A little bit of hardware that has been put to the side because obviously he doesn't need that to paint it. And then we've decided on these to do them red. A lot of people are saying, you know, just keep them black, and we're kind of going back and forth, red, black. Ultimately, I just asked the owner, what do you think? And that's what he said. He wants to do in red, so that's what we're going to do. Just going to have to figure out how much of this we can actually do red because of all this bracketry right here. And then we have the new grill that unfortunately came in all black. So we're going to have to figure something out to get this thing to the right colors. Everything was supposed to be white, except the mesh was supposed to be black. So we're going to have to figure that one out, and hopefully our painter can fix something with that and make it right. So guys, with that wrapping up this video, I greatly appreciate you tuning in, sticking along with this build. It's super fun, and I am so excited to have the opportunity to do this. It's like the truck that I never had that I'm able to build. Very grateful to the customer and also for all you guys supporting along the way of getting to this point. Also, if you do want to support MDDP even more, these new hoodies are out. MDDP hoodie, it's like a camo. It's a nice tight fit, so it's not loose or anything like that. And those will be in the description below. I'll put a link for it down there. So thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully we will see you on the next video.